How's it going, guys? Welcome to today's video. In this video I'm going to be talking about how we manage our cows around calving, before, during and after. Now this video might seem a little bit jumbled up as we're going along because I filmed different parts throughout the spring. It's kind of busy to get time to do the whole video all together. But I'm out here in the outdoor cubicles, which are currently empty because right now we have most of the cows calved. Most of the cows are wintered here when they are dry, and we have it divided into three sections: early, mid and late calvers. And it makes it easier for us to go through the cows when they're closer to calving, to keep an eye on those close to calving. And once they start springing up, which means they're going to be calving within the next day or two, we move them over to the old cubicle shed near the calving shed. So C is over on that side with A on this side, B in the middle, and the cows pretty much just push over towards A, and then we have space to put the cows who have calved in the cubicles then if need to be when the weather is wet. The cows are currently gone to milking, but despite today being lovely, it has been very wet, so the cows are actually going to be coming back in here after milking. So for most of the dry period, it's just ad lib silage with their dry cow minerals dusted on it. When they get about 3 weeks away from calving, we'll start giving them sweet CalMag as well, just to increase the amount of magnesium that they're getting to help reduce the risk of milk fever. We usually give the dry cow minerals in the morning and then the sweet CalMag in the evening. This just makes sure, because magnesium doesn't stay in the blood for very long. What we also started doing this year as well is feeding oats, about 1.5 to 2 kilos of oats per cow per day in the few weeks leading up to calving. Normally as well, when they're during the dry period, the cubicles are lined once a day, but then again coming up to the closer to calving, the risk of getting mastitis is higher, so we start liming them twice a day. So having the cows divided up to early and mid late calvers allows you to do this little bit of different treatment without having to do it for all the cows. So over here in the older cubicles, right here I'm in the 40s. That's because there's 40 cubicles in this shed here. These are all cows that are left to calf. And this is also connected to what we call the 60s. There's 60 cubicles outside here as well. So when cows are closer to calving, they have sprung up, we bring them over here. Here they're treated pretty much the same. They're getting the same diet of silage, oats and minerals. But having them here right beside the calving shed allows us to keep a closer eye on these calves that are closer to calving. And we can monitor them multiple times a day. When cows are very close to calving then, so their pins drop, which is just here, there's a ligament or bone, a ligament that will soften, that indicates that they're going to calf soon, within the next 6 hours. We can then move them out here into the calving shed. So we're calving in here in the machinery shed. There's actually one calving right there. And we also calve out in the shed out here in the calving shed. But currently, because calving is slowed down, we're calving all of them in here. And there's a couple of lame cows in the calving shed. Because conditions have been so wet recently, we haven't been able to get out. Hopefully we get lots more of that sunshine. So the cows then calve in this group pen. All the cows that calve during the night are taken out in the morning and head over for their first milking, and then from there they join the colostrum mob. And all the cows that calve during the day are moved over during the afternoon milking for their first milking and join the colostrum mob. This year we also got these little sheep pens to put in the calving shed. This is when we take out the cows who have calved, we can put those calves into this pen, and it stops them going and sucking any of the cows who haven't calved yet until we come down with the trailer to pick them up to bring them up to the calf sheds. So we have a newborn calf here. So I just put it into our calving WhatsApp group. The cow number, the sex of the calf, and I just throw this collar on it. The collar is made out of a tire tube and just has an old tag on it. And that will do to identify that calf until she gets tagged, probably tomorrow. And then I just spray the calf's navel with some disinfectant. When the cows calve here, then we can enter in that they have calved, so that the milking parlour knows. So at the end of the milking, we bring in the cows who have calved. In the morning milking, it's cows who calved during the night. In the evening milking, it's cows who calved during the day. We're going to milk all these cows on the buckets. We're going to trim their tails and put their corresponding tape onto their tails. So then we test all the milk from each individual cow with a refractometer. Now the milk tails clipped, we want to put on tapes. How the tape system works is, so for the normal cows who get the regular dry cow treatment, they are a 5-day withdrawal. So today is 1 day, so then 4 more days. We have 4 different tapes. So the tapes that came off today will go on those cows. Now there will be some cows who are different. For example, heifers or cows who didn't get dry cow treatment, they only got sealer. They'll have a shorter withdrawal period, and some cows got a stronger antibiotic dry cow treatment, they'll have a longer period. Everybody has some period because we also dose the cows for fluke and worms when they calf. So just after milking, we will dose these cows. So all of them will have some length of a withdrawal. So today's the 22nd, so we're the green and yellow. We also have these, there's 2 lists up here. This is the sealer only list. This is the extra list, the stronger antibiotic. If the cows aren't on either of those 2 lists, it means they got the regular dry cow treatment. So you can see how we just spiral them down. You don't want to put it on too tight, otherwise it can squeeze the tail too loose and fall off. So this cow was sealer only, so she got yesterday's tape blue, which means she'll get into the tank a day early. Colostrum is put into these buckets, so we just write the date and the level. It's not actually a percentage, but they'll be brought up, put into the fridge, and be bottle fed to calves. So basically under 22 on the refractometer is poor quality. Over 22 is good. Over 25 then is very good. So anything under 22 and sometimes 23, 24s, depending on the supply of colostrum, will be used as the calf's second feeding. And the best quality colostrum is used for the calf's first feeding, just after they are born. So we don't feed the cow's own milk to its own calf. We make sure, because we want to make sure it's good quality colostrum, so we'll just feed the milk that we have on stock, and then that cow's milk will go to the next calf essentially. So the colostrum mob act as a transition mob. Because of using dry cow treatment and dosing them for worms, their milk can't be sold, but their milk can be fed to calves. So the colostrum mob are only milked once a day. Once the weather is suitable, we usually try and get them out grazing during the day, but we always keep them in at night to eat silage, and this helps with the transition of the diet from silage onto grass. They'll also be getting their meal in the parlour. You see all the cows in the colostrum mob have different coloured teeth. So up here now in the dairy, we have a 3-way valve on the milk line just after the filters that we can divert the milk up. So this means that it's diverting the milk away, and it comes out here through this line, and this is where we're putting the colostrum milk in this IBC. That can then be taken up to the yard and be put on a stack of pallets to be used for feeding the calves. So today's green yellow, this girl's green yellow. All cows are being stripped before we cut them on. The green yellow ones, we're going to CMT with one of these. This is to check how their cell count is for mastitis, and if they're good, they'll be clear, we'll take off the tape and they'll join the milking mob. So we take a sample of milk into each from each quarter into each section. We're going to level off to make sure the same amount of milk is in each, and then squirt it in the fluid and swirl it around. What we're looking for is it to turn, for it to be clear running. If it starts to turn to goo, that means it's high cell count. So this curl is clear, which means we can remove her tape and then we can move her into the milking mob. This cow here now wasn't as good, but rather than treating her for mastitis straight away, because she had no clots, it's not clinical, we just put tomorrow's tape on her and spray an orange dot. If she's still bad, tomorrow she'll get a second dot, like this cow here is after getting 2 dots. If this cow is still bad tomorrow, we will treat her for mastitis. Generally we find that often cows just need a couple extra days to get themselves right. Cows will cure themselves to a certain degree, but if it's not curing, we will intervene with antibiotics. So as the colostrum mob are leaving the milking parlour through the draft system, I manually draft them, flicking out the ones who are seeing the colostrum mob. I usually put them into the holding pen and let the ones who are clear to join the milking mob to walk straight out to go out with the milkers. So I can manually control the draft system here by just using the switch here from left to right. So once the cow's milk is clear to be sold, they will be moved from the colostrum mob into the milking mob. The milking mob is milked twice a day, and if the weather allows and ground conditions are good, we will try to keep this mob out at grass full time. If we are managing to keep them out full time, we will offer them a pick of silage on their way out from milking, just to help with that transition diet as well. But more than likely, if the weather's a bit mixed, they might be in by night or out by day or on-off grazing or something like that. It all depends on the condition. They're also getting their meal in the parlour, and the feeding rate will depend on how much they're getting out to grass. If they're out grass full time, they might be only fed 3 kilos. If they're being in a good bit and silage quality isn't great, they'll be fed more. Again, depending on how much they're getting out to grass and if they're in, how good is the silage. So there you have it. That's how we transition from the dry cow who was in the cubicles and silage to the milking cow who was out with grass grazing. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Thanks very much for watching. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments below. See you in the next one.